What's up, everybody? What does Paul Finebaum think the biggest SEC storyline is heading into this season? We'll discuss that next here on Locked On SEC.
You are Locked On SEC, your daily podcast on the Southeastern Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you guys for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. I'm Chris Gordy. Thank you for checking us out. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use our code Locked On College, get $20 off your first purchase. All right, today's show will bring you a few more of our interviews we caught up with some of the big folks at SEC Media Days. And first up, out of the gates, it is the godfather of the SEC, the one and only Paul Finebaum. We had a lot of fun with him and got some thoughts with him on what he thinks is the big storyline heading into the SEC season, among other things. So without further ado, our sit down with the great Paul Finebaum. Roll along here from SEC Media Days and ran into one of the oldest living legends at SEC Media Days, Paul Finebaum. How are you, sir?
That's very accurate, by the way. I confirm that.
I was looking, Tony Barnhart's right there. But everybody's moving on, man. Dennis Dodd's announcing his retirement. All the great writers are all moving on, and now it's all bloggers and YouTubers.
You sound like my wife asking me when I'm moving on. When Tony told me he was stepping down, it really struck me because he started a little bit before I did. I was the youngest reporter in Alabama covering Bear Bryant.
Wow.
45 years ago. Now I'm probably the oldest one covering college football.
Well, when Tony said his book is 50 years of covering college football,
yeah.
Like, my God.
No, he asked me to write the forward to it, and I think that's only because I'm the only person that remembered who he was.
Does it make you feel old when you hear Arch Manning, like Archie's grandson, is coming to Media Days?
No, it's funny because I grew up in Memphis, and as a young teenager, I was able to get some tickets in, late 60s to go to a Liberty Bowl game that Archie Manning was in, and it was like a big thrill to see him play college football. And he was pretty amazing. He was not as good in the pros because he had a terrible team around him.
Right.
I was a little bit off the beaten path, but I was talking to somebody yesterday from South Carolina, and they just hired Mike Shula to be the offensive coordinator.
Right.
And I said, I covered Mike Shula as a player, as a head coach, and now I'm covering him as an offensive coordinator. I mean, things are really getting out of hand.
It's funny. I bought your book many years ago, and I brought it here, and basically...
I hope you paid full price.
I got it at a pawn shop. It was $2. But, no, I did buy it when it was full price. But, this was so relevant for so many years. My conference could be your conference. And now here we are. The Big Ten has won not one, but two back-to-back national championships. So for SEC fans out there you're at the sports bar and you're getting, blank talked by Big Ten fans, sure. What's the counter argument? What do we tell them?
Well, I think if you're an SEC fan, you have to be realistic. And the last 2 years have been bad. You can't cut around it. It's one thing if Clemson had won or Southern Cal, but Ohio State, Michigan, it just rubs people the wrong way, because the Big Ten really is the equal or rival of the SEC. But this book is really all about fans bragging, and that has not, losing 2 years in a row has not really stopped the Alabama fans, the LSU fans, the Georgia fans. It just rings a little bit more hollow now, and you're in a big market, and when you lose, people quit paying attention. Yep. And the SEC needs to get back in the game and win, and I think they will this year, because I think Texas is the best team in the country.
So you believe Texas is that much better than Georgia right now?
Yes, I'm just not enamored by Georgia, and it's really because of the quarterback. I think he's very pedestrian. I don't think defensively they're as deep. They're elite, of course. They're elite, but if you go back to 3 years ago, you remember that draft in Vegas? It was one. The guy that went number one, I've actually forgotten his name.
Yeah.
But he was just like, he was a random defensive tackle at the beginning of the season. And
Walker, right?
Yeah. They had so many elite players, and they still have a lot. They just don't have as many. Alabama, how did they win under Saban? Because they had a first-round pick replaced by a guy that was another first-round pick.
We're here at SEC Media Days, and Greg McElroy made headlines for all the wrong reasons the other day, in basically saying a little bird told him that Nick Saban may want to get, or not may want to, wants to get back into coaching. I know you were quick to shut that down. I mean, it seems absurd. It's fun to kick around, but, I mean, you're right. His age, doing what he's doing on game day and everything, like, it seems silly at this point.
Yeah, and being in my late 60s, I can understand the thought process. But you make as much money as he's made. You've got 3 or 4, however many homes. You just bought an $18 million home in Jupiter, Florida. You're a member of every elite club there is. You're playing golf. Game day's not hard work. I did that my first year at
SEC Nation is.
Well, I started on game day, and then the network started. And it's, I mean, for me, it's hard work when you have to, get up at 4 o'clock and go to the airport. Nick Saban gets on a private plane.
Yeah.
I promise you, that's not hard work. A lot of my colleagues do that while I'm schlepping to the airport. But the point is, I think there's one way he would come back, and that's if the right NFL club said, okay, we'll pay you $20 million. You can make all the player personnel decisions. There's probably another $5 to $10 million you can sock away. Nobody's going to get no NFL owner is going to give him a piece of a franchise. That's just not how billionaires operate.
Right.
But $20 million is no. Harbaugh makes that or thereabouts. And I think the fact that he's in Florida, I think maybe Miami would entice him.
Yeah.
I mean, he coached there once and kind of left feeling like he left something there. So I think that would be. But he's not going to New York to coach the Giants. He's not going to the Cowboys. I mean,
that would be fun.
He would go someplace where he can run the show.
You think pro more than college?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
because they
come
did
on.
just say coaching. They didn't say what level.
Nobody in their right mind wants to coach college football.
Yeah. It's, well, that's why he got out, right?
Exactly.
I do want to ask your travel schedule. A lot of people may not know this, but typically on SEC Nation, you fly back home right after, right? Typically?
Most of the time, and there's a reason for that. It's not that I don't want to see the game, but I also work early Sunday morning for ESPN.
Right.
So there's, unless you have that private plane that Nick Saban has, you're stuck. So I used to, before COVID, I would go from SEC Nation to Connecticut to do studio. Then I was in New York during the week to do the shows there. But COVID changed everything.
Yeah.
You can do it from your upstairs bedroom, which I do.
Yeah. It used to be your mom's basement, but now you've moved. So. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's where all the message boarders live, right? All the people who, all the big the big haters out there. Do you have a favorite coach in the SEC? You when you see they're coming up on the show today, you're like, this is going to be great.
Lane Kiffin.
Y'all have a report.
Yeah, no, I mean it's the weirdest thing. I mean I don't. It's like going back to high school and you get set up on a blind date and you like her, but she doesn't really talk to you. So you're just kind of waiting for that moment to say, oh, by the way, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I mean, we had an interview yesterday. I don't see the humor, but apparently everyone else did.
He is a needle pusher. I mean, like he will find out like what the things you hate about yourself, and he will bring those out. Not you specifically.
And he just brings up weird stuff. He said, I know you got me fired at the Raiders. Because you wanted me at Tennessee. But he thinks like a teenager, which is why he's so much fun.
Yeah, and the kids relate to him.
Yeah.
And,
they love him.
It's amazing. What's your favorite storyline heading into this SEC football season?
It's pretty boring to say, but I've been fascinated by Arch Manning, and it's because college football does not have that many megastars. Caleb Williams was going into his final year. Manziel was, Tebow. Everybody said, well, what about Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow wasn't a star going into his final year. He was. Jane
Daniels, too. I mean,
yeah, nobody really knew what to expect. And this guy is, tell me this. You've covered sports a long time. How do you become the Heisman favorite in Vegas before you've ever started a game? But that's where we are.
Yeah, have a famous last name.
And it's not just a good name. I mean, it's the best name in college football history.
Have you talked to him, Arch?
I wouldn't know him.
He is light. I mean, like, I've had a chance to talk to him a few times. He is light years, mature beyond his years. Mm-hmm. They have raised him right, coached him right. So Now you just got to go play football.
I'm glad to see the only brother that, didn't become a billionaire now have a son that will be a billionaire.
Last thing on the way out, just don't even think about it. Off the top of your head, favorite movie of all time?
I'm having to think about it. What's yours?
I'm probably, so Rudy's a favorite. Big Lebowski, there's a few up there.
I tell you what, it's not the new Superman. I can tell you that.
I thought you were going to pick something in black and white.
Well,
Casablanca, Wizard of Oz.
The jazz singer probably was my favorite.
It was the first talkie you saw in theater, yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to it with my dad.
He is the great Paul Finebaum. Of course, catch him every day on the SEC Network. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. More Locked On SEC coming up next. But first, want to remind you guys, if you're trying to stay on top of your routine, whether that's working out, long days on campus, staying focused through back-to-back classes, get ready for a big tailgate. Hydration is where it's at, and that's where our friends at Drip Drop come in. When you're on top of your hydration, like we tell you, you're going to notice everything is working a lot better. Your energy, your mood, your focus, everything. But getting enough fluids every day isn't always easy, and that's why you're going to love our friends at Drip Drop. Drip Drop is doctor-developed and scientifically proven for fast hydration. It uses the perfect balance of sodium electrolytes and glucose to help your body absorb fluids quickly, delivering 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of a leading sports drink. Again, you're going to try a lot of those different electrolyte powders. Nothing tastes as good or works as fast as our friends at Drip Drop. If you got a busy schedule, stick them in your backpack, your pocket, whatever. It's going to save you more than once from that midday crash. Drip Drop is going to become your go-to, especially during long summer days where you know you're going to be sweating it out. Right now, Drip Drop, they are offering Locked On listeners 20% off your first order. You just head to dripdrop.com. Use our promo code Locked On College. That's dripdrop.com, code Locked On College. Go check them out today. All right, roll along here to Locked On SEC and continue on with more of our interviews from SEC Media Days. And we got to sit down with the great Paul Finebaum. Next up, we got to sit down with Chris Doering, another guy from the SEC Network who knows his stuff when it comes to the SEC. We hit on a number of topics with Doering. Here was that conversation. Always a pleasure from SEC Media Days when we can spend a couple minutes with Chris Doering of SEC Network and host of SEC This Morning on SiriusXM. Welcome in, Chris. How was your offseason?
Yeah, it's been good so far. Busy, but good. And, I think there's certain people you associate with media days and the season starting, and sitting with you seems to be one of those traditional
days. You see my face and you go, okay,
it's time to go.
Media Days.
Yeah.
Did you do anything fun this offseason?
We messed with PB today on the show. He did not catch the invite to Alyssa Lang's wedding down in the Bahamas, so I played up how much fun that was and being a part of that special day with all the other. We actually ran into Drink down there. Coach Drink happened to be down there for spring break in the Bahamas, so got great pictures down there. Even got to watch my Gators advance to the Final Four down there in the sports book, so it was a good time.
That's awesome. I was at the national championship game, and I had a lot of friends who were Houston grads and some Florida fans, so I was kind of like neutral. I'm like, whoever wins. But what a way to win it, man.
That weekend, just the come from behind nature of the victory over Auburn, and then again on Monday night against Houston. And, I don't know if I've ever seen a more anticlimactic kind of finish there. I think it took everybody a second to realize the game was over with. And then, but I had my son and my daughter's boyfriend with me, and it was just a great – just to be a fan. It was awesome, man.
Let's talk a little football. To me, just kind of looking at all the teams, man, like, does this feel almost wide open in the SEC this year? Like, there's so many teams that, like, obviously Georgia, Texas, maybe LSU, Alabama at the top, but, like, you can make a case for A&M. You could make a there's
you can make
teams.
A case for a lot of teams, but you also can make a case for those teams at the top taking a step back too, and I think that's what makes it feel so wide open. I don't know if I've ever gone into the year feeling like I know less about all of these teams. Obviously, with the change in transfer portal and guys moving around all over, it's tough to really get a feel. And I'm curious if the coaches even know exactly what they have as they prepare for their fall camps.
From what you know, and I'm just asking you this because I've tried to ask people too. How concerned should we be about Lagway's shoulder? Do you think he's good to go? Where are we with that?
I've been told, that it's not a concern. It's not actually a shoulder thing. I don't know the truth of it, but, I can't imagine that they would bring DJ Lagway to media days if he wasn't going to be healthy, if he wasn't going to be able to go. That's a tough position to put him in. Either way, obviously, if you don't have him out there, that hurts. But I think missing a lot of the spring, all of the spring that he did hurts. Even though he was the starter last year, you got so many new weapons coming in. J. Michael Sturdivant from UCLA. You got Dallas Wilson and Vernell Brown from high school. You got Trey Wilson coming back from an injury. Those guys haven't played much together. So just missing those reps, I think, is going to hurt the continuity of the offense as a whole. Hopefully he can get up to speed in the remainder of the offseason.
I hate crowning dude studs out of a spring game, but Dallas Wilson,
he looked the part, and then he played the part.
Right.
And I think that's the thing that has everybody so excited. And one of the things I think Coach Napier's team does, or coaching staff does so well, is evaluate the receiver position. I mean, look at Ricky Pearsall, Elijah Badger, Jim DK. Those guys have all come in from elsewhere and fit right away. Dallas Wilson from high school looks like he's coming from another college program, but I think being able to evaluate guys that can not only fit the system but can come in and contribute immediately, like Trey Harris did a couple years ago, or Trey Wilson did a couple years ago, I think is what you're going to see from Dallas Wilson and Vernell Brown.
I'm going to bounce around here on a bunch of different things with you. All right, bigger must-win week one, LSU at Clemson or Texas at Ohio State?
Ooh, I think it's LSU at Clemson. Given the history of the LSU program the last 5 years, losing all 5 of their openers, I got to go with that game, I think.
More pressure to make the playoff this year, Brian Kelly or Kalen DeBoer?
We had this discussion on our show. I passionately think it's Brian Kelly. I mean, hey, look at what Kalen DeBoer has done. Came to a new conference. I know everybody, has a different measuring stick for Alabama, but came to a new conference without his right-hand man, Ryan Grubb. Last year, they win 9 games. They get Grubb back this year. They get more of their players to having another recruiting class. You got a lot of guys on defense that come back. I think there's a lot of positive things about what's ahead in Tuscaloosa. I think this is kind of a do-or-die year in Baton Rouge.
What's the lowest number of games Auburn has to win for Hugh Freeze to feel safe?
Oh shoot! I don't believe the just get bowl eligible narrative. I think they got to win at least 7, probably 8.
Okay. Have you caught Archmania yet? I have that as a question.
Archmania, have I caught it? I'm all about it. I'm a little slow to crown him as the Heisman winner without really having a full season under his belt, but I'm excited about watching him.
Favorite movie of all time?
Ooh, man, that's a tough one. I like big Hoosiers guy. I like The Natural. I think those are kind of right there together.
I like it. Chris Doering, always appreciate the time, man.
Appreciate it, man. Good to be with you.
All right, we'll be right back right after this. Back to SEC, locked on SEC in just a second. But look, we've all been there logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. And that's where Game Time comes in. Game Time makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as you get closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. So if you're tired of endless scrolling, trying to find the best deal, Game Time's Zone Picks deal will keep the best seats for you in the section that you are looking for. With Game Time, the price you see is the price you pay. No hidden fees. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use our code LOCKEDONCollege, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem our code LOCKEDONCollege, get $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Our last interview of the day from SEC Media Days as we head into the weekend. Another player interview, a guy we didn't get to play for you. We did catch up with Blake Shapen, the Mississippi State quarterback. We brought you that interview while we were at Media Days. But his teammate, a new teammate coming over from Oklahoma, wide receiver Brennan Thompson, expected to play a big role in that offense for Jeff Lebby and the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Figure we would bring you that interview without further ado. Here was our sit down for Media Days with new Mississippi State wide receiver Brenen Thompson. We're along here from Radio Row, and Mississippi State here in the building today. And a pleasure now to be sitting down with one of their wide receivers, number 0.
Yes, sir.
Brenen Thompson. Welcome in, man. How are you?
Thank you. Good. How are you?
Good. How's the offseason been for you?
Man, it's been great. Just grind.
It's it feels like it gets shorter and shorter every year, but I know last year the team kind of laid the groundwork of Coach Lebby and what he wants to do, and obviously the injury to Blake didn't help and all this, but what's this offseason been like, kind of getting to know Blake and getting to know this new system?
Man, it's been great. For me, I played with Coach Lebby at OU, so knowing the system kind of came natural to me. But just getting to know the guys, getting to know Blake, Isaac, everyone inside the walls has just been great, phenomenal. I feel like the energy has been on 10 ever since last year. Obviously, the whole team has something to prove, and so just excited to keep pushing with those guys and finish summer strong.
Was that kind of, I mean, obvious, it's an obvious question, but I mean, knowing Coach Lebby and knowing the system, that's what kind of attracted you, hey, I got to go play for him again.
No doubt. No doubt. And he's just a great man off the field as well. And so I feel like, not only does he lead me on the field, but he leads me off the field as well. And so he's just a great guy.
I think the appeal of starting something fresh, starting something new, building it brick by brick, and kind of being a part of that's got to be fun, right?
Oh, it's like no other. You get a new head coach to a team, and then, ultimately we have so many transfers and new guys come in the spring and the summer. So just trying to lay the foundation right, where it needs to be, and, on rock, not sand, is huge. And so just it's exciting for sure.
Obviously, Blake threw for a ton of yards at Baylor. What's it been like getting to know him and kind of developing that chemistry?
He's a great guy, great human being, got a great head on his shoulders. He knows how to lead this team. And so I'm just going to be beside his side, leading this team together and helping him any way he needs me to help him. But he's been a great guy, great leader to me, great role model for this team, and so I'm excited to go play with him.
Mississippi State, y'all brought in a ton of transfers last year. Some this year, not an overhaul of the roster, but a good bit. So what's that got to be like with all these new faces and everybody kind of getting to know each other and kind of figuring everybody out?
It's definitely tough, just getting to know, however many new guys that come in. To me, it's a whole new team, so I'm having to learn, 100-something players. But it's been great. It's been good. I feel like, this whole team is kind of going in the same direction based off just what happened last year, and so nobody wants that to happen again. And so I think this whole team is just moving as one.
What's the biggest adjustment to the SEC? Is it the speed of everything, defense, DBs, all that?
I feel like it wasn't a huge adjustment for me at the skill position-wise. Obviously started out at Texas, then went to Oklahoma, and now I'm here. So, I feel like it hadn't been too much of a difference as far as skill positions go. But definitely tougher components, tougher stadiums, stuff like that. Yeah, so it's cool. As a kid, you always dream of playing in this league, and it's the best league in college football, and so I'm excited. I'm blessed.
That's what I was going to say. The biggest difference got to be game day. You walk into some of the stadiums, and, it's just like a death roar when you walk out there,
no
right?
doubt. And, my high school, I'm from a 3A high school in Spearman, Texas, so
right.
we may have 300 people in our stands, versus 100,000. So it's a little different, but it's so exciting. I'm blessed, excited to get it going.
Talk a little bit about the defense. What have you seen there? Obviously, a bunch of new pieces, particularly on the defensive line up front. But what have you seen from the defense?
I feel like they're real physical. I feel like they're really physical in the spring. They continue to get better each day. And I'm just proud to see them work right beside us each day.
What's been Coach Lebby's message this offseason? Because obviously, last season was what it was, but I got to think his message has got to be, whatever, use the cliches, like hold firm, this thing, we're coming through the storm here.
Effort, physicality, execution. I feel like those are the three things we live by, and so, we do those three things. I feel like we're going to like where we're at the end of the game.
What's the rest of the receiver room look like? We know Jordan Mosley, Anthony Evans came in, but what's this room looking like?
Amazing. I think everyone has bought in to what we're trying to do, where we're trying to go, and the whole room has definitely improved since spring already. Everyone's grinding in the summer. I'm proud of where the room's at. Definitely not finished by any means, so I'm really excited to where that room's at.
I think one of the most underrated running backs in the SEC, back in Booth. To me, he doesn't get enough attention, but got to be excited to have him back in the fold.
No doubt. He's a dog. That whole running back room, along with him, him leading it is amazing. I'm excited to see what they're going to do this year.
When y'all look at the schedule, obviously it's tough, as it always is. But it's the old cliche, 1 week at a time. But you really have to take that approach when you're playing such a daunting schedule, right?
No doubt. Definitely 1-0 each week. You can't be playing week 2, focusing on week 8. And so definitely just 1-0 each week.
What's your biggest attribute in the pass catching game? Are you more of a slot receiver? Or are you stretch of the field? What give me your breakdown of your game?
I'm definitely running for the deep ball.
Okay.
I'm trying to strike on everything.
All right.
Everything I touch, if it's a slant, if it's a screen, don't matter what it is, big post, I'm trying to score. And so, we always have a motto in our room, score from far. And so that's kind of where, I've taken that and I've embraced that. And so, I feel like anywhere I'm on the field, whether that's in the running back position, slot, wide out, wherever I'm at, the ball's in my hands, I'm trying to go score.
Well, Coach Lebby's track record is scoring a lot of touchdowns, so I got to think that's kind of the mission this year. Like, hey, we got to find that end zone more.
No doubt. I think that's just as a whole as well. Just outscore the other team.
We're talking about Mississippi State wide receiver Brenen Thompson. When you're not playing football, what are you doing?
I am fishing. I'm hunting, riding ATVs, enjoying a body of water somewhere. Maybe grilling some ribs for the wifey at home.
Nice. You're married?
I am married. I got married this summer, so
it's
been great.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. Yeah, that's
just
what
know
I'm doing.
this. She's always right. You're always wrong. Just know that.
Yes, ma'am, and keep pushing.
What's that had to be attractive too to come to Starkville if you're such an outdoorsman, right?
No doubt. And I'm from a really small town. Originally in high school, like I said, Spearman High School we got like 3,000 people as a total. And so coming to Starkville, it's even bigger than my hometown.
Yeah.
So it's very comforting for me and my wife to be able to enjoy the small town environment, enjoy the outdoors, what we love to do, and at the same time enjoy the great University of Mississippi State.
I remember talking to Will Rogers a couple years ago, and he was like, "I'm never inside. I'm always outside."
Always.
Like, well, that's a great place for you.
I'm always outside doing something.
All right, last thing for you. Don't spend too much time thinking about it. Just first thing that comes to mind. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh gosh, I'm a big movie guy, so this is. Oh gosh, American Sniper's a great one.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, the first one that popped in my mind. So.
Yeah, that's a good one. We've been asking everybody, and we've had everything from Remember the Titans to Transformers to. I bring it up because we had Anthony Richardson here a few years ago, and I asked him his favorite movie, and he said Venom.
Okay.
And I was like, of all time, that's your favorite movie?
That's
I felt compelled. I'm like, this year I'm asking everybody what their favorite movie. If somebody says Venom, I'm just going to get up and walk out because I think that's the most ridiculous thing ever. But that's a good answer.
Yes,
I like American Sniper. Brenen Thompson, you were off the hot seat. Appreciate the time, man.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck this season. We'll be back right after this. All right, thanks again to Brennan Thompson. Thank you guys for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. Thanks to Paul Finebaum. Thanks to Chris Doering. Hey, for your second listen, check out The Portal Show. Brian Smith has all the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan of the rapid changes to the college football landscape. Find The Portal on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. I'm Chris Gordy. This has been Locked On SEC. We'll talk to you guys next week.